that all of that we've just discussed there is so important that we talk about before we even get to bullying, right? The bullying piece itself, we can talk about the recognition of the significance of bullying as a whole. We can talk about everything else that we know about the bullying. We know that it occurs when there's an imbalance of power. This is not just about a size differential. A lot of times when you're dealing with parents on the subject of bullying in communities, they'll always talk about, oh, that really, really big kid. Really wanting people to recognize it is about an imbalance of power, but sometimes that can be about status within a community. That can be peer group driven, and it really is important that people really get a solid understanding of what that looks like. I tell people that when we're talking about bullying itself, I won't engage in a conversation about bullying until somebody is able to tell me what type of bullying it is we're dealing with. Because if we really want to challenge one another on this whole issue around bullying, number one, we all have to stop using the just general reference term up to the generic bullying, but really start concentrating on the type of bullying, because the interventions have to be different depending on what type of bullying it is we're dealing with. Their interventions do not look the same for every type of bullying. So it is imperative that when we take a look back at the 4 different types of bullying, let's make sure we're educating one another, all of our parents, on what the different types of bullying are and what does the relationship of behaviors look like. And I'm happy to share at any point. We have a lot of communique that we've often shared with parents, and I'm also happy to share with anyone that's interested, just so that we can also make sure that we're engaging all of our parents and communities in the same language when we're educating around the types of bullying behavior. There is no question, as you're well aware, that cyberbullying, of all of them, has been the most difficult one for us to deal with. Legally, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. It's interesting as well because cyberbullying itself, even though it is a separate type of bullying, you still have to break down what the role of the child's behavior was within the cyberbullying incident, because it's so vast. When we talk about the other types of bullying, we're not dealing with something that's as vast. We get into cyberbullying, and we said long ago, 2003, 2004, yes, it was very exciting about technology coming together, right, to really increase connectivity between all of us. And I'm the first to acknowledge that in my world, I deal with the downside of the connectivity, of the fact that our kids are so much further ahead than us in this particular field of the use of technology. But we always acknowledge that due to the access, scope, and anonymity, that it was predictable that we could see some challenges with the behaviors in relationship to cyberbullying.